Hey everybody, this is another video, do-it-yourself Kangaroo Courts number 4, the Allocution. Now, I'm announcing a new YouTube channel called Sovereignty International. It's a subscription-based YouTube channel. The recommended cost of the subscription is $1.99 because it avoids the advertising only. It's not going to have any exclusive content, or at least I can't think of any right now that I could put up there because my agenda is really to educate people. The only power that the New World Order Satanists have over us is through fraud and deception, and my agenda is to expose it for everybody. And so for that reason, I can't think of anything exclusive to put on that channel, quite frankly. Currently publishing 3 videos a week, and it'll probably go up to more depending on I got to find things to talk about. Anyways, Kangaroo Court, this is the preliminary videos that we did, 1, 2, and 3. And so it's all about Kangaroo Courts. It's a term descriptive of a sham legal proceeding in which a person's rights are totally disregarded, in which the result is a foregone conclusion because of the bias of the court or the tribunal. And so it's a Kangaroo Court. Part 1, we talked about all courts. There's 2 general kinds, 3 types of jurisdiction, what a kangaroo court is, what they're holding, why they're holding a kangaroo court, why they want you to have a liar, and how to tell it's a kangaroo court, and what they do in a kangaroo court, and how they're satanic. Part 2 is how to tell it's a kangaroo court and what they do in a kangaroo court, what's been done by others to defeat their kangaroo court without going in, and some things to do if they drag you in there. And number 4 is why they want you to plea bargain and what happens if you do enter a plea bargain. And then part 4 is this one, and it's a Roman cult commercial warfare. It is a contract. So where is the contract? Where's the benefit that I'm supposed to have taken advantage that subjects me to this? Admit nothing. Make them prove everything. Object to everything. Reject their contract at allocution. Okay, that's the last step in any one of these show trials. For a crime to exist, there must be an injured party. So when a police officer claims the state of Texas was injured, that is also a false statement constituting perjury. Okay, these pigs like to commit perjury. In every criminal trial, the prosecution must prove the corpus delicti, or the body of the crime itself. In other words, the fact of injury, loss, or harm, and the existence of a criminal agency as its cause. And so where is the corpus delicti? Where's the injured party? The power to create presumptions is not a means of escaping constitutional restrictions. To take an instance where a person sui juris has given himself an adoption, or a woman has passed over manus, all her property, or incorporeal and corporeal, and all that is due to them is acquired by the adopting father or coiptionator, except those things which perish by a capitis diminutio, of which kind are a usufruct and an obligation to services on the part of freedmen contracted by oath, and matters enforceable by a statutable action. Okay, so this is taken from the Commentaries of Gaius and the Rules of Ulpian, translated with notes in 1874. Okay, and so this is actually a book that was written like 350 AD and during the Roman Empire. And so the point being is that all statutes are Roman law. Okay, all statutes are Roman law. And so there are no common law offenses against the United States. Only this act which Congress has forbidden with penalties for disobedience of its command are crimes. Okay, it's all martial law. Okay, these people were Satanists. Under Texas law, no act or omission is a crime unless made so by statute. The legislature may create an offense in the same enactment, providing exceptions to its application. Okay, so unless they make a statute, there's no common law. No common law crimes in Texas or the U.S. or any state. Article 3, Section 2 provides for 4 different jurisdictions: law, equity, admiralty, and maritime. Admiralty and maritime are virtually synonymous. By process of elimination, we can rule out law by virtue of the Supreme Court rulings. In other words, law is common law. Okay, and so there's no common law. So then it leaves equity, and so then equity is defined as just administered according to fairness, as contrast with the strictly formulated rules of common law. The term equity denotes the spirit and habit of fairness and justness, and the right dealing which would regulate intercourse of men with men. Equity deals with fictions like corporations, since it's common knowledge that law and equity have been combined and are virtually indistinguishable from each other, and that anyone who has witnessed criminal proceedings in the courts easily recognizes that these criminal or quasi-criminal accusations are most usually contrary to the spirit and habit of fairness and justness and right dealing of men with men. Therefore, the cause of action cannot be in equity. Okay, so it's admiralty. Okay, that's the point, is that all of these are admiralty. Okay, where's the contract? In order for them to have admiralty, there's got to be a contract. A penal action is an action on a penal statute, an action for recovery of penalty given by statute. Where an action is founded entirely upon a statute and the only object of it is to recover a penalty or forfeiture, such action is a penal action. The words penal and penalty in their strict primary sense denote a punishment, whether corporal or pecuniary, imposed and enforced by the state for a crime or offense against its laws, okay? The noun penalty is defined forfeiture, or to be forfeited for non-compliance with an agreement, okay? Where's the contract, pigs? The words forfeit and penalty are substantially synonymous. The penal action is one founded entirely on statute and brought for the sole object of recovering a penalty or forfeiture imposed as punishment for a specific offense, while remedial action is one brought to obtain compensation or indemnity. Everybody in jail is there based on a contract. Okay? That's what this is saying. A penal action. Okay? They're all penal. I don't care if it's murder or what it is. Everybody's in there based on a contract. A penal action is one founded entirely on statute, and the only object is to recover a penalty or forfeiture imposed as a punishment for a certain specific offense, while a remedial action is one which is brought to obtain compensation or indemnity. A penal action is a civil suit. There is no criminal. It's all civil. Brought for the recovery of a statutory forfeiture when inflicted as punishment for an offense against the public. Such actions are civil actions on the one hand, closely related to criminal prosecutions on the other, to actions for private injuries in which the party aggrieved may, by statute, recover punitive damages. So again, it's all the Satanists in the legislature and the pigs. They assault you with their criminal corporation. My opinion is, and has long been, that the mayor and aldermen of a city corporation, or the president and directors of a bank, or the president and directors of a railroad company, or of other similar corporations are the true parties that sue and are sued as trustees and representatives of the constantly changing stockholders. A corporation, therefore, being not a natural person but a mere creature of the mind, invisible and intangible, cannot be a citizen of the state or of the United States, and cannot fall within the terms or the power of the above-mentioned articles, and can therefore neither plead nor be impleaded in the courts of the United States. That's U.S. Supreme Court. So, again, they assault you with their corporation. Held that a uniform traffic ticket is not sufficient information to be used as a pleading, and held that the absence of verified information was a jurisdictional defect which could not be waived by plea. And so it means absolutely nothing. Service of an appearance ticket on an accused does not confer personal or subject matter jurisdiction upon a criminal court. And so you send that to them and you tell them that you don't have jurisdiction. And I'm not giving you jurisdiction, these Satanist pigs, in the Kangaroo court. An appearance ticket is not accusatory instrument, and its filing does not confer jurisdiction over defendant. Allegations of legal conclusions. Now, there's some stuff here in square brackets, okay? The square bracket stuff is not there. It's kind of elaborating on the issue. So I'm just going to read the stuff outside the square brackets. Allegations of legal conclusions cannot be permitted to supply essential allegations of fact. Okay, and that's exactly what these pigs do on their speeding ticket or whatever kind of ticket. It's a legal conclusion, these Satanist pigs. A mere conclusion of a pleader cannot be availed of to initiate and invite an issue of fact, okay? There's no facts. Allegation of conclusion of law to tenders no issue. Where there are no depositions, admissions, or affidavits, the court has no facts to rely on for a summary determination. So, the key thing to understand here is admissions, okay? When you go in there and you say, yes, I am the defendant, then you just admitted something, okay? And so don't admit anything, Okay? Do not give evidence against yourself. How many times do I have to say that? If the record does not show upon its face the facts necessary to give jurisdiction, they will be presumed not to have existed. Don't admit anything. They want to know your name, then you ask them stuff like, if I give my name, is there a contract? And then you can say something like, the burden's on this pig to prove his case. I neither admit nor deny anything. A pleading cannot be aided by reason of facts not averred. Facts necessary to a cause of action but not alleged must be taken as having no existence. And the government of the Virgin Islands versus Giroux said they cannot assume facts not in evidence even if the clerk masquerading as a judge believes the facts to be accurate. But they want a clerk sitting up there playing stupid. That's exactly what they want. And if you don't know to bring up the issue, then they'll just presume it and assault you with it. That's exactly what these pigs do. It is noted as sufficient that the act constituting court dispenses with the court dispenses with trial by jury, a provision which was distinctly upheld in spite of the Seventh Amendment. With respect to the status of the court, the opinion concludes, while what has been said of the creation of special function of the court definitely reflects its status as a legislative court. There is propriety in mentioning the fact that Congress always has treated it as having a status. From the outset, Congress required it to give merely advisory decisions. Under the act creating it, all the decisions were to be of that nature. This is true at the present. A duty to give decisions which are advisory only, and so without force of judicial judgments, may be laid on a legislative court, but not on a constitutional court established under Article 3. The point being is that if they're not an Article 3 court, and none of them are, it's a legislative court, and it can only give advisory decisions. They don't mean nothing. They are nothing. That doesn't mean anything. These people are Satanists. So, the judge works for the state, the prosecutor works for the state, the police or witness works for the state. The vast majority of the disputes that the police initiate on behalf of their employer are also adjudicated by their employer, where the plaintiff, the judge, the antagonist, the police, and the only witness, also the police, all represent the same party. And since no corpus delicti, mens rea, or acts reus can be produced, doesn't technically qualify to be heard according to its own laws. The state, therefore, is indistinguishable from a criminal cartel. They are nothing but a bunch of crooks. Allocution. And I'm bringing this up because there's people been having success with this. Allocution, criminal procedure, a trial judge's formal address to a convicted defendant asking him or her to speak in mitigation of the sentence to be imposed. Under the federal rules of procedure, it's required. And your state, it's hard to say, although the federal rules technically apply in every state too. It's all federal. An unsworn statement from a convicted defendant to the sentencing judge or jury in which the defendant can ask for mercy, explain his or her conduct, apologize for the crime, or say anything else in an effort to lessen the impending sentence. This statement is not subject to cross-examination. So, that's Black's Law Dictionary, 8th edition. And so, this is what I've heard people say. And they'll say, I cannot accept that, or I don't accept it. And the judge will blink, and he'll look at him, and he'll look over at the prosecutor. I've heard of this happening on several occasions. And he'll say, like they say they sentenced him, like there was a lady I heard about in California that got sentenced to 25 years for bouncing a check. Yeah, 3 strikes you're out, right? Under the 3 strikes you're out in the communist California. Anyways, so the judge looks at her, looks at the prosecutor, blinks a couple times and says, well, will you take 10? And she immediately figured out what was going on, and she says, no. She says, I want this case dismissed immediately. And they dismissed it. The point being is that at the very end, after the show trial and the Kangaroo court and all the rest of it, you get to allocute. And so I can't accept that, or I don't accept it. Every taxpayer is assessed to a trust having sufficient interest in preventing abuse of the trust to be recognized in the field of this court's prerogative jurisdiction. A citizen of the United States is a civilly dead entity operating as co-trustee and co-beneficiary of the Public Charitable Trust, the Constructive Cestake Trust of U.S. Inc. under the 14th Amendment, which upholds the debt of USA and U.S. Inc., and that's taken from Congressional Record, June 13th, 1967, page 15,641 through 15,646. And if anybody's looked at the Congressional Record, they will see that that is obviously a summary of those 5 pages of the Congressional Record. And the Cestake Trust, yet still it was found difficult to set bounds to ecclesiastical ingenuity, for when they were driven out of all their former holes, they devised a new method of conveyance by which the lands were granted not to themselves directly, but to nominal fiefs to the use of the religious houses, thus distinguishing between the possession and the use, receiving the actual profits, while the season of the land remained in the nominal fief, who was held by the courts of equity, then under the direction of the ecclesiastical clergy, to be bound in conscience to account for his cestake use for the rents and emoluments of the estate, taxes, and it is to these inventions that our practitioners are indebted for the introduction of uses and trusts, the foundation of modern conveyancing. And that's taken from Tomlin's Law Dictionary, 1835 edition, volume 2, under the definition of mort main. So this thing says volumes. This thing says that the Cestake Trust was created by the Roman cult. This says that the courts are run by the Roman cult. And this says that they want their extortion, their taxes, and it was the foundation of modern conveyancing in 1835, and it still is today. This video is not intended to scare anyone or make them feel like all is lost, because it absolutely is not, but we need to know what the problem is before we can know what a good solution is. Make it so that they do not want to talk to you. See estoppel certificates videos. See file a notice of void judgment into the case, and demand a trial by jury. Okay, there's a bunch of ways that you can deal with it. There's not one silver bullet, and everyone's going to be different, and it depends on who the whore is on the bench. The end justifies the means is satanic. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, and put darkness for light and light for darkness. That's these Satanists. If a man be found stealing of his brethren of the children of Israel, and make merchandise of him or selleth him, then that thief shall die. Thou shalt put evil away from among you. These people are Satanists, and they need to be put to death, quite frankly. I mean, this evil needs to be put away from among us. Otherwise, we're going to be held accountable. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and damnation slumbereth not. The Dalai Lama, when asked what surprised him most about humanity, answered, man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money, then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health, and then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, and then dies having never lived. Well said, Dalai Lama. Give me liberty or give me death is a phrase coined by Patrick Henry after he witnessed a man flogged to death for refusing to take a license, by which he also went and preached to the spirits in prison. These people are going to go to hell. Spirit prisons, hell. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and they shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. It behooves every man who values liberty of conscience for himself to resist invasions of it in the case of others, or their case may, by change of circumstances, become his own. And this is called karma. And Thomas Jefferson was talking about karma. And so what goes around comes around, and if you don't stand up and help and do things to affect positive change, then you're due. You're going to get it. They're coming for you. If you love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contest of freedom, go home from us in peace. We ask not your counsel or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chain set lightly upon you, and may our posterity forget that you are ever our countrymen. And then nobody could say it better than Samuel Adams. When shall it be said in any country, the world, that my poor are happy, and my either ignorance or distress is to be found among them? My jails are empty of prisoners, my streets of beggars, the aged are not in want, the tax is not oppressive, the rational world is my friend, because I am friend of its happiness. When these things can be said, then may that country boast of its constitution and government. Well, we have absolutely nothing to boast about here. The streets are full of beggars. The prisoners are being populated by pigs running around populating the prisons. The taxes are oppressive. That people are ignorant. I mean, that's why I'm having to publish these videos, because there's so many brain dead idiots out there. But we do have some hope on the horizon. Maybe we got a new president that's going to take office. Hopefully, if these Satanists don't figure out some way of making it so that it doesn't happen. Even though the Satanist in the White House is doing everything he can to sabotage it, I guess we'll see what happens. But so there is some light at the end of the tunnel, but it ain't here yet. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he's taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hands. This is my effort to make sure that I'm held blameless on Judgment Day. Either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. You are now a watchman. Circulate this video far and wide. I hope you're blameless too. Other videos, I got over 250 videos uploaded. Bankster Thieves 1, 2, and 3, Churchianity series, bankrupt corporate so-called governments, bar members 1, 2, and 3, do-it-yourself, how not to surrender to selective service or the draft. Martial laws here, no income tax, no sales tax, traffic stop, free mail, Kangaroo courts. Copies of these documents can be found in my private group at Yahoo called Administering Your Public Servants. I have YouTube videos that are videos of private information shares that show these and other court citations that are available for a donation. Donations to support this work are appreciated. This last paragraph is for all the Satanist order follower revenue officers operating in their private capacity under the Federal Tax Lien Act of 1966. I prefer gold or silver coin. They can put their privileges and benefits up their rectal orifice. I prefer gold or silver coin, but as an extremely less desirable alternative, I can accept their IOUs. Federal Reserve notes, PayPal, gifts, checks, money orders, etc. Send me an email for particulars. If you find this useful, then you need to pay it forward. If you don't know what pay it forward means, then watch the movie. My blog is sovereigntyinternational.wordpress.com. My website is sovereigntyinternational.fyi. My email is engineerwin@yahoo. My YouTube profiles, Sovereign Living and Sovereignty International. My Facebook community page I deleted it due to censorship on the part of the Facebook Satanists. My private group at Facebook called Sovereignty International is being deleted. I want to make sure and hurt them as much as possible when I do it. So I'm removing everybody from the group, and I've already unfriended all my friends. I want to hurt them. And these Satanists. Anyways, my Yahoo private group, Administering Your Public Servants. My Google private group is called Administering Your Public Servants. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. I hope you get something out of it, and spread the word. And other than that, have a real nice